Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel here where we're playing Planet Zoo, and welcome here to our future life project in Africa. It's finally time to add our first animals, and here you can see we have the most endangered species in Africa. It's the Somali wild ass, West African lion, Western chimpanzee, Western lowland gorilla. But when we look at it, we have 3 lemurs that we actually can save at once. So we're gonna start with them. We're gonna start with the black and white ruffed lemur, which in Danish would be den sorte og hvide vari. And vari is a word from the true lemurs, which is a subcategory under lemurs. Then we got the blue-eyed black lemur, which translates directly to blåøjet sort lemur. And then we got the red ruffed lemur, which also called a vari, like the black and white one. So the red ruffed lemur is the rød vari lemur. Again, rød means red. I will put them up on the screen so you can see the spelling if you want to. Yeah, let's get ourselves some lemurs. And as you can see, I'm not too picky about which lemurs we're gonna take. Of course, we would take the lemurs no one else wanted, so we would get some with really bad stats. But still, some of them could have good stats still, but just be injured in some way or have a sickness where they need constant medical care for the rest of their lives, and therefore they couldn't be released to the wild. You can see here I start building just a little house for them. It wouldn't be in a guest area. Here the house would be somewhere where we could get to really quickly. But I have this idea about the Lemur Island. I think most people think Lemur Island when they think lemurs. And I really like the vibe of it, and I like our guests to be able to go into the lemurs. Lemurs would be able to live in the wild, even though people have been in contact with them. Here you can see I start forming the island, and I started with this side, and then I remembered this is the size I normally build it in, and it always turns out to be too small. So in a second you can see I go back and make it bigger. And see, when we add the water here, it's really small, and we like the lemurs to be able to be on this island without walking on the guest path. So we go back and delete this again and take a bigger chunk out here. I softened some of the edge around it so the lemurs would be able to reach the water, but I also kind of have these edges some places which an island normally would have. I really much rather like the size now. These paths, they really mess with my head sometimes. Yeah, and as you can see, I'm not that structured when I build. I build then a bit here, then a bit there, then a bit there, then a bit there. And that's just how I work. I don't say it's the right way or the wrong way to do it. But for me, if I look at the same small thing too long, then I lose my inspiration. So I like to go forwards and backwards, and maybe sometime I go back and edit stuff and already keep building on different parts of on a habitat like this. pretty much not to make sure I don't lose my inspiration. Here I add the inner metal ceiling to make sure the lemurs wouldn't jump out. I'm pretty sure the roof we added first, the African roof, would the lemurs would be able to just sleep through that. Yeah. And then we needed some way to get the lemurs over to the island. Yeah, of course, first we needed to make sure here that the lemurs don't leave the lemur island. It's okay, they can run over on this bridge. I actually like when you go on a bridge and the lemurs can climb on top of it. I like when I go somewhere and you can go into the monkey or the lemur's habitat, and they just I don't want them to be on the path so I can touch them, but I really like that when they run over me, that feeling. It kind of makes me feel like I'm just a part of it all. Here I just made this small bridge so the lemurs would be able to get over, and I'm just gonna climb-proof this fence. It's the most important thing when you do a monkey or lemur habitat or anything like that. They need to be able to climb over. And then I go back and try to make the bridge or something else. I really like these ones. I don't remember if it's from a mod. I'm so sorry. If it is from a mod, I will add it below so you can see and get it yourself if you want to. I will check at the best of my knowledge. And here I kind of want to fence it in. So lemurs don't, especially the small children lemurs, kid lemurs, I don't know what they call in English, they don't fall off the bridge and down to the water. Again, lemurs can swim a tiny bit, but not that long. And down here it's kind of, yeah, we don't want any accidents, so we add these ones. Then I find a tree. I like when they're able to just climb by tree, down and up and around, instead of using like building structure from them. And the kids, when they get released to the wild, they would have to be able to do that. I wanted to make a roof for this, but I figured it just really didn't make sense in the long run, since it's not to keep the lemurs in, it's to keep them from falling off. And I thought it looked stupid with the roof here, so I go back and delete it again. And over here, it is the plan with this that we have a bridge in both ends so the guests could go through the lemur's island. Also to make sure that they don't all pile up in one end of the habitat. We want there to be a flow, but it will take some time for us to add animals all the way around here. So for now it isn't usable, this part, but we will use it later and still we make it climb proof. Yeah, I think about making a door because as you know, the keepers are too stupid to use the guest entrance to this habitat. So as it is right now, they can only go into the house and nowhere else. So instead we make a door down here. And then we make this, yeah, I love these doors. Then we make this kind of, yeah, you can see we need to be able to get us guests over. So we make this, I don't know what it called in English. First I looked at the bridges that didn't work. Then I found this piece that I really like. So I just made a staircase here with it. And I was thinking that I would have to go back and redo it because it was too high. But it does work. And the lowest I just do this. And then a staircase here in the other end. So they can go up. And that's really a basic way of doing this. But it works. The lemurs do use this way sometimes, but the main part of them are climbing over as I intended. Also because, as you can see here, the staff can't go over, and then when I remove the door, they can. I don't know why the staff can only use a door if there's a path on both sides. Hopefully it's something they're gonna change up later. And here I'm gonna start with our showroom area. I think lemurs are an amazing animal to have these animal talking point at, because you can always be sure they're around. They don't get dressed out by the people, but still they have the ability to go away if they want to. So I have this idea of a animal talking point, but I go away from it, back and forth a bit because it's me. Of course, there will be some structure later on. I think we're gonna start building it here, so they can actually climb over this talking point. But I really don't have too many rules about this. You see here, I just add some floor. I like this floor. You can see that it's the same as we used for the roof in the main building. And I kind of had a hard time trying to figure out how exactly I wanted to do this. Because of course I could make a bendy road back to the island. But by doing that, I would also have to work a lot harder on my structure. And by making it straight, it would... It's just easier to build anything that's straight, because you can use the grid. And here you can see I got another problem, because apparently you can't add this seating area at this height, which I find extremely weird. So we have to lift up this area and go back and forward and back and forward and back and forward, and he all the time tried to remake it. So I used a lot more time on this than I intended, but still I really like the end result. Yeah, I don't know what I look at. Oh, mud pillars, of course. Again, you can see I keep moving it around and moving it around and moving it around, but I promise you, in the end, it looks like I wanted to. I would like it to be closer to the water because I like the effect that would give it. As long as it works, that's the main part for me anyway. A place like this just have to be functional. You can see I changed the color of this seating area. I think when you change the color of something as basic as this, it can really add something to the build. You see I made these in 6 meters height, which I'm pretty sure I go back and change up in a bit because 6 meters is a lot, but it was because of the seating area. It would be too cramped to sit in the highest roads when the animal shows are on and that kind of stuff. But I really ended up fixing it and making it down to 4 meters. Again, 4 meters is really high for a basic wall. I know in my room here I got a really high room, but still it's not over 3 meters. And here just back and forward to make sure I got the exact same height like that. And I'm just gonna move a tree. And here I use the mud pillar to make sure I have the same distance all the way around. And then I can take the lines here and move at the same time, so I move them in a straight line as well. And here I added the 6 meters because I, for some reason, only added the 4 meters first. And then later here I do think I go, yeah. And then I thought on the bridge I would only have 4 meters and then 6 meters on the main building. But here you can see I go back and say only 4 meters, it's high enough. And here you can see at the floor, I can see that I really didn't get the height right. And I'm mad about it. But here we got a better height. And then I just fixed the end because I know the end here is a bit lower. So go in and find this piece. So I can bend the end here of... yeah, I don't bridge or what we're gonna call this. Yeah. And then we at the talking point here, and I said it once a year to. Is it just me, or can an animal talking point only be once a year? Because I would love it to be like every 3 months or something like that. Especially because here, if I add more talking points, then I can't use the same seating for more than 1 point, which is really irritating. Yeah. And then I just start working with this rope. I really like ropes in this kind of builds. For 2 reasons. First, the animals will use them to climb around. And can you imagine the education is working down here, and in the background you can just see a lemur running down on one of these ropes. But also because I just like the aesthetic of it. Yeah, here I just try to figure out what should use for roof, because I really want a roof up here. Otherwise, when it's 42 degrees, as it is right now, I think it will be so hot to sit here and sit still in the heat. So therefore, I really needed a roof. And I got this idea that this zebra roof would be perfect. Spoiler alert, it's not, not at all. But more on that in a second. If it was more like, yeah, here you can see I just added the small rope as well. Here it would have helped me if I hadn't already added the trees, but it's fine, we're gonna work with it. And here you can see it's like these zebra stripes just doesn't line up. And as a perfectionist as I am, that would irritate me every single time I looked at it. I wouldn't be able to stand anywhere near it without looking at it because I know it, and it would be so frustrating. So here we go back, and I actually end up making a more detailed roof, but a more basic roof. And sometimes basic is what you need. So I find some logs here, and they are from the these logs I'm end up using. Again, I can't just can't remember if these are from the main game or from a mod, so I will link it below if it is, as I always do. Again, as we did on the restaurant area and on the parking lot, these aren't going to be all covered, but they will be partially covered. So you will be in the shadow, but you will also be... So you will be in the shadow, but you will also be in the sun at the same time, but it will cool down a lot of what you do. And here you can see I still use my mud palette technique to move it in a straight line. And personally, I think the mud palette technique, yeah, I know most people use the mud palette technique to make round things, which you also can do, and it's amazing. But here you can use it to actually stay in line. So I use it all the time. And then we add some more enrichment in here. I try to keep in mind that the lemurs should be able to reach all of it, and my keeper should as well, but I'm not sure. Here you can see I just go back to the ropes here, and then just copy it down here, so you don't fall off. I know a rope like this wouldn't be able to hold anyone in place, but it would help you keep like a certain amount of safety. And again, the water isn't that deep anywhere here. And I'm pretty sure that in worst case all of our keepers and vets and educations would be able to help if anyone did fall down. So now we're just in the green point of the video. I really like to add these small bushes around. I did like working with these, and I did think about putting them all around this place, but in the end they wouldn't grow all around. They would just show up some places in bundles, and And that's actually what most plants would do. And then just, I love these, but I also keep in mind where they would grow. They wouldn't grow in too much shadow or in too much sun. So you can see I break them up where there's a bridge or anything on top of them. And then I just go down here and around and under here. And then I stop there because, again, they wouldn't grow in too much shadow. Then we add these ones. And I know I use too many enrichments items. I am aware of that. But I rather have too many or than too little. And again, we would be a place where if anyone comes with, oh, I have these lemurs, please take them. Then we would have to take them, so we wouldn't go back and forth, and when keeping the number we have now, we would like there to be a possibility of adding more lemurs, and just our habitat would be already ready for that. Yeah, just add this one first of all because I wanted to hit the concrete beneath, but also it gives this climbing structure added here, and it really looks fun with the lemurs just runs over it. Yeah, we also add these down here, which I should have done before, but I didn't notice I didn't before now. And here I just try to reuse the same item to make a bridge over here. I really like using this dirt path, but I don't like the bridge, and I really don't like the staircase that comes with it. So I like to go back and forth and just change this. And then we needed the bridge in the other end. And as you can see, this is too long, so we're gonna change that in a bit. And here you can see the bridge wasn't completely straight, so we go back and edit that. Yeah, when you do things like that, you can use a lot of time just re-editing the same part again and again. And that's just a part of the game. So here you can see we go like we did before and just... But that's pretty much it for this design. And here you can see we actually start where we ended last episode, which is as the restaurant area. You would be able to see this lake from the restaurant, and you can see the rocks over there, and it is the plan that we will have another habitat on the other side of this, so we will reuse the same lake. But here I just like the view of this. You can't actually see the lemurs here, but I just really like the profile of it. But let's go in here and see the lemur habitat from the guest point of view. And I really like, here you can see the lemur bridge on the left side, and on the right side you will be able to see another habitat at some point over there. And let's just go in here and have a look. Here the lemurs for some reason don't play with those. And of course we don't have that many lemurs here at this point. So we would have to look a lot for them, but there's one running over here and climbing down here. So cute. And use the bridge. And again, this view are going to be amazing when we get built up more habitat. Yeah, Yeah, they're just standing out there. They don't really want to do anything, the lemurs here. But maybe they just have to get used to the habitat. And here's the bridge to the educational talking point. Yeah, I'm really trying to find the lemurs, but maybe it's because they're all new in this habitat, or I just made it too big for the lemurs. You can see they're all over there, where when I was over there there were none. But then we can go in here and just take a seat, I guess. Yeah, if you keep watch of the rope. There was the lemur! And I do like that effect this rope gives, where you can't actually see the lemurs most of the time, but sometimes they just show up. So anyway guys, that's all for me today. I really hope you enjoyed this Lemur Island habitat from our Future Life project here in Africa. Yeah, you know the drill. Like, subscribe and turn on the bell of notification so you know every time I upload a new episode. So have a nice day. Bye.